Hello, good evening, viewers. Good evening, Trisha. And today, unlike other days, I will not do any bakwas. I'll do Siddhi Baat. Siddhi Baat, no bakwas. And I can
Why?
see that you are wearing ICC Women's World T20 merchandise. I'm seeing that.
Yes.
When will you be giving me World Test Championship merchandise?
Unfortunately, if there wasn't any this COVID situation, maybe I would have given you. But right now, I'm not too sure.
But can you
But
give
what?
the viewers an
Yes, I'll give the
idea about
viewers.
the World Test Championship final playing conditions? Everybody is calling us, na, and asking what's the
Correct.
conditions, what's the rules, and all.
Absolutely. So the first rule is, in case of a draw or tie, both teams will be crowned joint winners.
And the second rule is a reserve day will come into play only if time is lost during the first 5 days and not made up on those days. That is time lost due to a rain break or anything like that.
Correct. What is the third rule? The third condition is the match ball used will be grade one Duke's cricket ball.
And the fourth one, the third umpire will automatically review any call of a short run by on-field umpire. That was done in IPL also.
The fifth one is an interesting one. Before reviewing an LBW decision, the batter or fielding captain can confirm with the on field umpire whether an attempt has been made to play the ball.
And related to
Interesting.
this, the sixth, yeah, very interesting. And related to this, the sixth one, which is a new rule also, for LBW reviews, the height margin of the wicket zone has been lifted to the top of the stumps. It was first till the base of the stumps. Now it is lifted to the top of the stumps.
Exactly. So all the six rules are very interesting, right? Which basically
Hmm.
means all the rules need a bit of discussion from us, correct?
Hmm.
So what will we do,
Hmm.
Orko? If we discuss all the rules for you in at one go, it will become like, serving you Chinese with Japanese with Indian with etc etc. So we are not gonna put all the dishes on your table. So what are we gonna do? We are gonna pick up certain rules and discuss. So today,
Hmm.
the rule which I think is unfair is the rule we are
Hmm.
going to discuss. Actually, two
Hmm.
rules. The first one is, in case of a draw or tie, both teams will be crowned as joint winners. And along with that, the reserve day condition, that a reserve day will come
Hmm.
into play only if time lost during the 5 regular days is not made up on those days, right? So, uh,
Correct. Correct.
am I stuck? No. Okay. I just thought for a
No, you
second,
are
maybe
not.
I'm stuck. So, see, Orko, what I feel is when you're doing a World Test Championship, what do you mean by that?
Hmm.
It's kind of a World Cup for
Hmm.
Test matches, for the Test
Hmm.
format, I mean, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that means let's take the 2019 ODI World Cup for an example. Okay, in
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
2019 ODI World Cup, England and New Zealand, the match ended in a tie. There was a super over. The super over also
Hmm.
ended in a tie,
Hmm.
right? So that
Correct.
means, according to the conditions of World Test Championship,
Hmm.
if that final ended in a tie in both the cases, then they should
Hmm.
have been the joint winners. Why is it that there are rules to ensure that one of them become winners? Because at no point, even after seeing the World Cup final match, you can, actually pick out that England should have been the winners and New Zealand shouldn't have been the winners. And if you see the score, and I'm
Hmm.
not talking about seeing which team played better. No, I'm just saying,
Hmm.
even if you see
Hmm.
the scores, you cannot separate the teams. And yet, you have a rule which it was an absurd rule of boundaries and all, but there was still a rule. So here you're having
Hmm.
a final, but there is no significance. Okay, I'll ask you a very simple question, Orko. So both the teams will want to win the match, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Now suppose you are say Kane Williamson, and you see that your team is in a losing position. when you are
Hmm.
going out to bat in the second innings.
Hmm.
What will you tell your team to do? Will you ask them to, play defensively and not lose the match? Or will you tell them it's
Hmm.
okay, let's still go for winning, and if we don't win, at least India win? What will you tell your
Obviously, the
team?
safer option will be to
Exactly.
draw
So
the
then,
match.
yeah, exactly. So if you are basically saying, in case in the first or second day or third day somebody finds out that we are definitely not winning, then we are
Hmm.
gonna ensure that we don't lose, and then
Hmm.
there's no point of the final at all.
So here I have a question that what should have been done? Like, should they have, if it would have ended, if it ends in a tie or a draw, should they check out the standings before the World Test Championship final? India is top of that list. Was Would that have been fair? Because again, that World Championship final table is a little bit controversial because people have played with strong teams, have played with strong teams. Then there are other strong teams like, for example, Australia, who have played with weaker teams. So, and the amount of points for each series is the same, 120 points.
Correct.
So
Correct.
here also the table is not reflecting the true story. For example, New Zealand. New Zealand have played matches, won matches mostly those which they have played at home. Again, New Zealand,
Highest number.
India have played against tough oppositions like Australia, like England. So is it fair to adjudicate the winner on the basis of the standing of the World Test Championship final?
Absolutely not. I would actually say that it should be a mixture of two things. From the World Test Championship, you have to see who has played top five opponents. Like,
Hmm.
we have the ICC Test rankings, and there are five
Hmm.
teams, right? Top five, one, two, three, four,
Hmm.
five. See which team has played maximum against top five and what are the results of those. Then take into
Hmm.
consideration which is like, where has this competition happened? Has it happened at home or has it happened away from
Hmm.
home? And
Hmm.
these two should actually give you with who deserves to win. That is what I feel.
That's a
And if you
complex
see, it's not
calculation,
tough.
but it should.
No, it's not tough,
Hmm.
because you will have five teams, among which
Hmm.
India and New Zealand are the two teams, right?
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
are basically
Hmm.
left with three teams. And
Hmm.
India and New Zealand series, there was one series which was in New Zealand
Hmm.
and New Zealand won hands down.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
that series
Hmm.
doesn't count because it becomes your home series.
Hmm. But
Similarly,
again,
for
for home series, do you think there should be points which are less in home series? The points won in
absolutely,
home series will be less
absolutely,
in as opposed to away series. Another
absolutely.
thing, are you surprised that whenever there's a final, for example, if there's a World Cup final, before the start of the tournament only, it's decided that whether the final, if it ends in a tie or something, what will happen. But this one is getting decided just before the final match, not before the tournament has started. Isn't that surprising?
It's very surprising. I was very surprised. First when the playing conditions came out, I was like, why didn't we know this beforehand? Because everything should be decided.
Hmm.
You knew there will be a World Test Championship, and when the
Hmm.
World Test Championship had started, also there was no corona, so people cannot put it
Hmm.
on COVID-19, right? So
Hmm.
there was no
Hmm.
COVID-19, and everything was supposed to be normal. So why was your tournament final not decided? Why didn't you
Correct.
decide the playing conditions? I'm not saying
Playing
tournament
conditions.
final teams.
Hmm.
I'm saying, why
Hmm.
were the playing conditions not decided? Why is it being decided now?
Hmm. Tisha, one thing, I think because it's being played in New England, where there are a lot of positive result in the sense the matches either are not matches don't finish in draws, grab draws
Hmm.
unless it's too much rain. And here comes the
Correct.
second point: if there's too much rain, and every time there's rain, we see that half an hour before the match starts on the next day, and That's how time is being got back. Like time is being made up. Now, if you don't make up the time, then there's one whole day, reserved day, which is the
Correct.
sixth day. That is a very good rule,
Correct.
I feel. But
Correct.
I think because it's England and because most matches are either won or lost and doesn't end in a draw, I think ICC will get away with this rule and some team will eventually win the game.
I hope so. I can only hope so. But you never know, because cricket is such a strange
Hmm.
game. In England, you would actually
Hmm.
not expect a game to be a draw per se, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm. Hmm.
because it's also understand what is at stake, you know, it's a World
Hmm.
Test
Hmm.
Championship final. It's not just a test match. So you would give
Correct.
it all to even draw. Now in this condition, you would give it all to
Hmm.
draw the match as well. What I am trying to say
Correct.
is the rule should have been such that it would have taken the draw completely out of the equation. As a
Correct.
team,
Correct.
I would have to force. Here, it's more of like, what is the team's intent? You know, if the team's and the captain's intent is kind of
Hmm.
being tested, agreed, both
Hmm.
the teams will want to win. But you still have a
Hmm.
chance, though. If you suddenly
Ah,
see one of the teams is way ahead, you know, you can
correct.
have Australia was way ahead in Sydney. Look what Ravichandran Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari did. Williamson can pull
Hmm.
that off, not like they can't. So if I am a
Correct.
New Zealand, if I am New Zealand team and I'm seeing I'm definitely gonna end up second if I don't, pull down my shutters, I will pull down my shutters.
Hmm.
So a final cannot have that option. Yeah, that it just spoils the final for me, genuinely.
Correct. What do the viewers think?
Yeah,
They have to
but the
write.
viewers will have to
Hmm.
comment that. They have to also subscribe to our channel, like our video, follow us on Facebook, sorry, not Twitter, Instagram. And you can also follow Orgo and me personally in Instagram. But whether you follow us or not, subscribing our YouTube channel is must, and your opinion, telling us what do you think, is also
Hmm.
absolutely necessary, right? So tomorrow, what are we coming
Correct.
back with, Orgo? Just give them a glimpse.
About the rule regarding the LBW, whether
Absolutely.
the umpire, whether the batter has played with the bat or not, like whether there was intention to play with the ball, it affects the
So
LBW
tomorrow I
rule.
have to wear a hat.
Let's decide that tomorrow only.
Okay, we'll decide that tomorrow. As of now, take care, stay home, stay safe, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.